Hello, rare gems. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. This quote perfectly captures the journey of a Sigma female. Being a Sigma female isn't a title. It's a lifestyle, a mindset, and sometimes a burden only a select few can carry. You're not the type to follow the crowd or crave validation from others. You navigate life with a quiet strength that often leaves people guessing, and that alone sets you apart. But let's be honest, this unique path isn't without its challenges. You see the world differently. You don't just look, you dissect. You don't just feel, you analyze. And while these traits make you unstoppable, they can also leave you feeling isolated, misunderstood, or even drained by the very things that make you extraordinary. In this video, we'll explore the 11 unspoken struggles only Sigma females can truly understand. These aren't generic problems. They're raw, real, and deeply personal battles that come with being someone who refuses to settle for less. So stay tuned, not just for insight, but for a reminder of your power. These struggles don't define you, they shape you. Watch till the end and embrace what makes you rare. Number 1. The frustration of being taken for granted. Sigma females are masters of handling life with grace and competence, but that very strength often works against them. Because they navigate challenges so effortlessly, others assume they don't need help, support, or even acknowledgement. It's as if their capability has become a double-edged sword, earning them respect but robbing them of the appreciation and care they deserve. Friends, family, and colleagues often overlook the fact that even the strongest people need to feel valued. They see the Sigma female handling responsibilities, solving problems, and keeping it all together without breaking a sweat. And they forget to ask how she's really doing. They don't see the moments when she's exhausted or overwhelmed because she never shows it. To the outside world, she seems unshakable, but inside, the lack of recognition can be deeply frustrating. The issue isn't that she needs constant praise. Far from it. Sigma females aren't driven by external validation, but they are human, and like anyone else, they need to feel seen. When people consistently take her strength for granted, it can leave her feeling invisible, as though her efforts are expected rather than valued. This frustration grows over time, especially when others lean on her without offering anything in return. People assume she has an endless well of energy and resilience, but even the strongest have limits. And when those limits are ignored, it's not just draining, it's disheartening. Sigma females won't beg for appreciation or demand recognition. They'll keep showing up, doing what needs to be done. But make no mistake, being taken for granted chips away at anyone, no matter how strong they are. And while they won't say it out loud, a simple thank you or genuine gesture of care can mean more than anyone realizes. Number 2. The weight of being everyone's therapist. Sigma. Females have a natural presence that puts people at ease. Their calm energy, sharp insights, and emotional stability make them the go-to person for advice, guidance, or just a listening ear. People see them as a source of strength and wisdom, someone who always seems to have it all figured out. But what most fail to realize is the toll this takes. When others unload their problems onto a Sigma female, it's rarely a one-time thing. Friends, co-workers, even strangers feel comfortable spilling their deepest fears and frustrations because they sense she can handle it. And she does, patiently listening, offering practical solutions, or simply being the steady presence they need. But behind that composure is someone quietly carrying the emotional weight of everyone else's issues, often at the expense of her own well-being. The real challenge is that Sigma females rarely complain about this. They don't want to appear weak or selfish, and they genuinely care about the people around them. But being the emotional backbone for so many can be draining. It's not just the time spent listening. It's the unspoken expectation that they'll always be available, always strong, always ready to help. What's frustrating is that this dynamic is often one-sided. While Sigma females give so much of themselves, few people stop to ask how they're doing or whether they need support. The assumption is that they're fine because they always seem fine. But even the strongest people need someone to lean on. Over time, this constant emotional labor can leave them feeling depleted and unseen. They won't ask for less because it's not in their nature to turn away someone in need. But deep down, they wish more people understood that even pillars of strength need rest, care, and someone to share the load. Number 3. The challenge of balancing strength and softness. Sigma females are often admired for their strength and resilience. They have an inner toughness that allows them to face life's challenges with grace, never backing down from adversity. But this very strength can create a blind spot in how others see them. People get so used to seeing them handle everything with poise that they forget they are in fact human. They have feelings, vulnerabilities, and moments of weakness, just like anyone else. When they do show signs of hurt or vulnerability, it's often met with a dismissive response. Toughen up, they might hear, or you're too strong for that. It's as if their emotional needs don't deserve the same attention as those who might be seen as more fragile or openly expressive. This can be frustrating because while Sigma females may be able to handle life's obstacles with strength, it doesn't mean they aren't affected by them. It doesn't mean their heart doesn't break or that they don't feel pain. Their strength often becomes both a shield and a burden. It's what makes others rely on them, seek their advice, or expect them to always be the strong one in the room. But when it comes time to lean on someone themselves, they're expected to remain invincible. The softness they might want to express gets swallowed by the expectation of unyielding toughness. This creates a silent struggle, wanting to be seen as multifaceted, as both strong and vulnerable, yet fearing judgment for showing too much softness. Sigma females don't want to be boxed into the role of being perpetually stoic. They need spaces where their emotions are acknowledged and their vulnerability is accepted just as much as their strength. They are whole beings, and that includes both resilience and the occasional need for tenderness. Number 4. The exhaustion of constant self-reflection. For Sigma females, self-awareness is not just a practice. It's a way of life. They're constantly analyzing their choices, questioning their actions, and reflecting on the impact they have on others. This drive for self-improvement pushes them to examine everything, from the way they speak to how they react to life's challenges. It's a relentless pursuit of growth and understanding, but it comes at a price. While this self-reflection fuels progress, it also comes with an exhausting mental burden. There's rarely a moment when their minds are quiet, when they can simply be at peace with themselves. They're always looking back, wondering if they could have handled a situation better, if their response to someone's actions was the right one, or whether they're staying true to their values. This constant internal analysis means they can never fully escape the pressure of wanting to be better. There's always a voice in their head asking if they could improve, if there's something more they should be doing, or if they've missed something important in their own growth. While others might be able to relax and let things slide, Sigma females find it nearly impossible to do so. The paradox is that this pursuit of self-awareness is what makes them who they are. It drives them to grow, to evolve, to break free from old patterns and limitations. But it also keeps them in a cycle of self-criticism and restlessness. Peace of mind becomes a distant dream, something they can't seem to grasp no matter how much progress they make. It's a double-edged sword. The very quality that enables them to evolve and grow also prevents them from ever truly letting go and simply being. The exhaustion of constantly questioning and reflecting leaves them wishing, just for a moment, that they could shut it all off and experience a sense of calm. At number 5, the frustration of having to teach others how to treat you. Sigma females often find themselves in a frustrating position when it comes to teaching others how to treat them. People, by default, expect them to conform to the usual molds: dependent, compliant, easy to manipulate. But Sigma females don't fit that mold, and the moment someone crosses their boundaries, they face the harsh reality. This woman doesn't tolerate disrespect. It's not that Sigma females are difficult or overly demanding, it's that they've built a life based on self-respect and clear boundaries. They understand their worth, and they won't tolerate anything less than what they deserve. When people step out of line, they don't hesitate to put their foot down. But the frustrating part, the constant need to teach others this lesson. It's exhausting having to repeat the same boundaries over and over again, explaining why they won't tolerate being treated poorly or manipulated. Sigma females know what they want and what they deserve, and they don't believe in compromising on that. Yet, time and time again, they find themselves having to teach people how to treat them with the respect they've earned. This repeated need to set the record straight can feel like a never-ending cycle. The frustrating reality is that Sigma females rarely get to enjoy the peace that comes with clear mutual respect. Instead, they often have to assert their boundaries again and again until others finally understand. And once that lesson is learned, they won't teach it again. Sigma females simply move on, cutting ties with anyone who refuses to respect them, knowing they don't have the time or energy to invest in people who can't grasp their worth. Number 6. The unspoken fear of losing their inner peace. Sigma females know the value of inner peace better than anyone else. It's not something they take for granted. It's a treasure they guard fiercely. In a world full of chaos, constant demands, and draining relationships, they've learned that the only true sanctuary lies within themselves. Their mental peace is their anchor, the one thing that keeps them steady when everything around them is in turmoil. But it's also incredibly fragile. They've witnessed how easily peace can be disrupted by outside noise, toxic people, and overwhelming expectations. Life moves at a fast pace, and the pressure to meet the demands of others, whether it's family, friends, or society, can start to take its toll. When that happens, the weight of it all threatens to shake their sense of calm, and that's a terrifying thought. For Sigma females, losing their inner peace is the worst-case scenario. It's not about being emotionally unstable. It's about the sense of being lost, disconnected from themselves. The mental clarity and serenity they've fought hard to achieve become clouded, leaving them feeling off-center. Once they lose that peace, everything else, relationships, work, goals, starts to feel unmanageable. That's why they protect it at all costs. They carefully curate their environment, distancing themselves from negativity and people who drain them. They set clear boundaries and fiercely defend their time alone. Anything that threatens their peace is swiftly cut out, because they know that once it's gone, it's hard to get back. This quiet fear of losing their mental peace is always there, lurking in the background, but it also drives them to remain strong, focused, and careful about the energy they allow into their lives. Because for a Sigma female, inner peace isn't just a luxury, it's everything. Number 7. The ever-present battle between wanting to help others and protecting their own energy. Sigma females have a deep-rooted desire to help others, to offer their support and guidance without hesitation. It's a part of their nature, a calling to be there for people who need them, whether it's listening to a friend's problem or stepping in to help someone through a tough time. But this desire to give, to share their wisdom, can also create an ongoing internal struggle. They know that helping others is important, but they also know that if they give too much of themselves, they risk draining their own energy, both mentally and emotionally. This delicate balance of nurturing others while also preserving their own well-being is an exhausting tightrope to walk. Sigma females are fiercely independent and value their solitude, but when someone they care about is in need, their instinct is to offer support. The conflict arises when they realize that every time they give, they're potentially losing a piece of themselves. Their emotional resources are not infinite, and if they give too much, they risk burning out. The hardest part of this struggle is the guilt. Sigma females hate feeling selfish, yet they know that if they don't protect their own energy, they won't have anything left to give. They have to constantly remind themselves that self-preservation is not the same as selfishness. But the guilt still lingers, making them question their choices and their limits. It's a battle that plays out in silence, one that others might not even notice. They give, they nurture, but always with the silent knowledge that they can't afford to lose themselves in the process. The ongoing challenge for a Sigma female is finding the space to care for others, while never sacrificing their own peace and energy in the process. At number 8, the weight of being self-sufficient yet never being seen for it. Sigma females are the epitome of self-sufficiency. They don't rely on anyone's validation to know their worth or to measure their success. They've built their lives, achieved their goals, and navigated challenges on their own terms. Their accomplishments speak for themselves, but the world, it rarely acknowledges them. Instead, society chooses to shine a spotlight on those who shout the loudest, who demand attention and applause. The quieter, more introspective achievements of a Sigma female often go unnoticed, and that can feel like a heavy weight to carry. It's not about seeking praise. Sigma females don't need that. They know the value of their efforts, whether or not anyone else does. What's frustrating is the constant overlooking of their hard work, the silent battles they win that go uncelebrated. They might quietly rise to the top, excel in their career, or cultivate deep, meaningful relationships. But the world seems to reward the attention seekers, the ones who make noise and demand recognition. This creates a sense of invisibility for the Sigma female, despite all they have accomplished. Being self-sufficient often means doing things without fanfare, without the need to broadcast their successes to the world. But this quiet strength is often misunderstood or worse, ignored. The world might praise the loudest voices or the ones who ask for recognition, leaving Sigma females frustrated with the lack of acknowledgement for their achievements. They might not need the applause, but it doesn't make it any less discouraging when it feels like their accomplishments are invisible. It's a quiet, unspoken weight they carry, a reminder that the world doesn't always see those who move with purpose, who achieve without needing the spotlight. Number 9. The battle of staying true to yourself in a sea of conformity. Every day, Sigma females face a quiet but powerful battle. While the world around them molds itself to fit in, to adhere to trends and social expectations, they refuse to bend. They stand their ground, choosing authenticity over conformity, even when it means standing alone. It's a struggle that plays out in small, unnoticed ways, rejecting pressure to conform to certain behaviors, resisting the urge to blend in, and continuing to march to the beat of their own drum. It's not always easy, and it often means they'll be misunderstood, excluded, or labeled as different. But for Sigma females, staying true to who they are is not negotiable. This relentless commitment to authenticity often isolates them. While others find comfort in blending into the crowd, Sigma females are comfortable in their own skin, sometimes too comfortable for the world's liking. They don't seek approval or validation from others. They don't care to fit into the predefined boxes that society has laid out for them. It's a freeing way to live, but it comes at the cost of connection. The more they resist conformity, the more they separate themselves from the herd. But it also makes them unbreakable. Their commitment to authenticity strengthens them in ways conformity never could. They've learned that it's far better to walk alone, true to themselves, than to follow a path that isn't their own. This inner strength allows them to weather the storm of social pressures without compromising who they are. In a world that thrives on fitting in, Sigma females are the ones who stand tall and refuse to be bent or shaped by anyone's expectations. They might be isolated, but they are never weak. They are stronger than ever, grounded in their own identity. At number 10, the struggle of being the lone wolf in a world full of followers. Sigma females are born to walk a solitary path in a world full of followers, and that journey is not always easy. They don't follow trends or bend to popular opinion. Instead, they carve out their own way, often misunderstood by those around them who prefer the safety of the herd. While others mindlessly follow the crowd, Sigma females stand apart, observing the chaos from a distance, often seen as aloof or disconnected. It's a path that requires immense inner strength because it's not easy being the outlier. The isolation can sting, the feeling of not quite fitting in can be exhausting, but for the Sigma female, it's also where they thrive. The weight of being misunderstood is constant. It's the weight of not being easily categorized, of not being the loudest or the most attention-seeking. While others are consumed with fitting in, the Sigma female remains steadfast in her individuality. She may question her choices, but never in the way others might question her. She's learned to trust her instincts and her inner compass even when it means walking alone. She doesn't need the validation of others to feel whole or significant. In this solitude, however, comes strength. Sigma females become sharper, more independent, and more self-aware than those who simply follow the crowd. They've learned to rely on themselves because they have no choice, and in that reliance they find power. They are unbreakable because they have no one to answer to but themselves. While the herd follows blindly, the Sigma female sees the bigger picture, and that vision, born from solitude, makes her far more capable than she's often given credit for. Number 11. The intense pressure to be everything but not being allowed to be vulnerable. Society often paints Sigma females as invincible, as though they're capable of handling everything that life throws their way with unwavering strength. This expectation places an intense pressure on them, one that they quietly bear, often without complaint. Whether it's at work, in their personal lives, or in the way they navigate the world, they're expected to be the ones who can always handle the load, the ones who don't need help, who can rise above it all. There's no room for weakness in the eyes of others. They are expected to be the pillars, the ones who hold it all together, no matter the weight. But behind that unbreakable exterior, Sigma females experience exhaustion too. They feel the emotional, mental, and physical toll of constantly carrying the load without anyone noticing. There are times when they long for a moment of vulnerability, a chance to lean on someone, to allow themselves the comfort of not being strong for once. But here's the catch. Showing vulnerability, especially as a Sigma female, is often seen as a weakness. In a world where they are expected to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, and perpetually strong, showing any sign of vulnerability goes against the grain. It's as though their emotional needs and softness are forgotten, overlooked, or deemed unnecessary. This leaves them in a paradoxical situation, caught between their desire for support and the pressure to maintain their unshakable persona. They are expected to be strong, capable, and unflappable at all times, and in the process, their own humanity gets buried beneath the weight of others' expectations. What many don't realize is that, just like everyone else, Sigma females need to be seen for their full selves. Not just the strong and unyielding parts, but the softer, more vulnerable sides too. In the end, Sigma females face challenges that few truly understand. They walk a path of independence, often misunderstood and sometimes judged for their choices. But these struggles are not weaknesses. They are signs of strength, resilience, and authenticity. It's the burden of being different, of choosing depth over shallow connections, and of standing strong in a world that often rewards conformity. These problems are part of what makes Sigma females who they are. Sharp, self-sufficient, and unapologetically themselves. So to all the Sigma females out there, know that these struggles don't define you. They refine you. They shape you into someone who doesn't need the approval of others because you've learned to rely on your own strength. You may be misunderstood, but that's just a testament to the fact that you don't fit into easy boxes. And that's something to be proud of. Keep walking your path, no matter how lonely it might seem. Embrace your solitude, because it's in that space that you'll find clarity and power. Don't let the world make you feel guilty for being yourself. Your value isn't in the noise around you, but in the quiet strength you carry. You are the exception, not the rule, and that's what makes you unstoppable. If you recognize yourself in these struggles, remember, you're not alone. Embrace your uniqueness, because it's what makes you powerful. And if you've found value in this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the powerful world of Sigma females. Keep standing strong and never let anyone dull your shine. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video. Bye for now, and God bless.